All right. We are now live. Very cool. Excited to do another kind of lunch and learn today. So for those of you all joining for the first time, I'm Jim Huffman. I'll get into a little bit about me and GrowthHit, but we're doing something fun where we're working on something we call the growth marketing operating system, about going from stuck as a business to scaling. And within this system, there's lots of frameworks and tools we have. And so we're like, you know what? We're just going to put it out there for free. We work with a lot of companies that hit us up that need help, and sometimes we can't talk to everybody. So we thought it'd be fun to kind of push this out there. So today we're talking about one that is probably my favorite. It's around this idea of leverage points. So we're going to talk about how to double your business in 10 minutes. The irony is that this lunch and learn is longer than 10 minutes. But anyway, that's besides the point. So let me dive into it. So before we get into the framework, I'll hit on a little bit on myself. So I'm Jim. I'm a accidental agency owner of GrowthHit, a growth marketing firm, been around about 8 years. This past year, we acquired a company called Neat. They make sweat-proof shirts. And then I wrote a book called The Growth Marketer's Playbook. I do some mentoring things for VC firms and startup accelerators. Most importantly, I'm a girl dad, a clueless girl dad at that. But yeah, I'm around. I'm Jim at growthhit.com. I'm on LinkedIn, and yeah, I respond to email way too fast if you want to hit me up. Oh yeah, the claim to fame here is we wrote a book that was for 72 glorious hours ahead of Seth Godin, and then he quickly skyrocketed past us. So the company we bought, Neat, sweatproof shirts. We got the intellectual property from someone who made it for the military and turned it into a shirt where you don't show pit stains and back sweat. The reason why I bring this up, we bought this company because we're excited about it, but also we build in public. We show what we're doing with designing the website, running ads, everything, and it's all out there. So hopefully that can be helpful for you. I'll even bring in some examples today from it. And like I said, this framework we're going to hit on in a second is from the growth marketing operating system. I love systems. I love process. I know that can be very boring to some, but I have found that if you get those dialed in, it just creates space to do fun things. And so anyway, we're launching this next week, which is fun for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. But again, you're going to get some of it for free today. So save your money. Okay, let's get into it as far as what we want to talk about. So think about your mindset. And right now, I don't know about you, but like, I'm really good at being busy. I'm like emails, I'm responding, Slacks, I'm getting them across the finish line. I'm putting out fires. But then it's like 5 o'clock and I'm like, I didn't do anything of impact. I did not focus on that initiative. I didn't like focus on the experiment that could transform the business. So as I think about this, whenever I calendar out my week and I look at my day, I'm like, am I focusing on things with high impact? And another thought is, what are those leverage points, those levers that if you pull them the right way, it's game over and you can do some really exciting things for your business. So the first question is like, how do I identify those leverage points that we could pull that could transform the business? So first, what I like to do is I like to identify what are the bottlenecks you have in your business, right? It's like, man, bottleneck is I can't get traffic, or people come in and they're not converting, or a bottleneck is on fulfillment, or bottleneck is I can't create enough good ad creative, or I don't have enough customer service reps to fulfill on the questions, whatever that is. And then the other thing is, what are those high impact activities? And another kind of fun prompt for this is, what's the one thing that if you did right, makes all the other problems go away or creates a whole nother set of problems? And if anyone is familiar with Naval Ravikant and his writing, and Eric Jorgensen did a book talking about his writings, he's very into this idea of leverage and focusing on leverage, using money as a form of leverage, people as a form of leverage, software as a form of leverage. So what I want to do now is I want to give you, I don't know where you're at. This could be a Denny's menu of options. It could be a Whataburger menu of options. It could be an In-N-Out burger of options. but basically giving you your options. If you're like, all right, Jim, let's do this. I'm not going to be firefighting with my business or with my market initiatives. What are those high leverage points I could focus on? So some of those options that we'll get into could be like, if you just nail your ad creative, make something really take off, that could be huge. Or maybe it's dialing your offer. What are those actions that if you pull this, the impact is transformative? So let me give you that menu real quick of all the different options. All right, cool. So I check in the comments. Awesome. This is super exciting today because we're on LinkedIn, we're on YouTube, we're on Instagram. Hopefully nothing breaks. Hopefully my internet doesn't go out, but fun to see the comments from places. Oh, okay, yeah, people are asking for the growth marketing operating system. I dropped that in the comments. If you don't get it on your feed, you can just go to my LinkedIn or you can go to growthhit.com and you'll be able to find it there. Okay, so let's go back to leverage points and how to double your business in 10 minutes. So the big thought is like, think of it this way. What are those dials you could turn in your business that if you just turn it a little bit, the impact could be huge, right? So whether it's a leverage or it's dials, that those small tweaks that you could do. So one of the first ones is around ad copy and creative. What if you had black belt level of ad creative that allowed your cost per impression to go down significantly, allowed your cost per click to be cut in half? Maybe that could be huge for opening the floodgates. The second one is my favorite, pricing. What if we just doubled prices? We would double the business. The third one, this is a big one, your offer. And again, we've done a whole series on this and we'll be doing more. If you create the right irresistible offer, it changes everything. So some very fun examples would be Domino's Pizza, right? If your pizza doesn't get there in 30 minutes or less, it's free. That was literally like a fun, like kind of marketing stunt, but it worked as far as their offer. 7-minute abs is an offer in itself. And again, there's lots of fun stuff we've hit on in that one. Partnerships, whether it's, there's in the agency world, I know some people where they got the right partnership with the right tech stack, the right software tool where they would funnel clients to them and it literally doubled their business. The fifth could be referral strategy. We're going to hit on an example of this, but this might be one of my favorites. But when you can turn your marketers into customers, that is a huge unlock, right? So one way to do that is what's the incentive you're giving for people to referral? All right, that's 5 of 10. We got 5 more. Outbound, could you turn on an outbound strategy that scales? 7, this one isn't sexy, but it's really exciting, but it's automation. I've seen this with e-commerce companies where they automate a post-purchase flow to buy the travel version of their product, and all of a sudden their revenue goes up. I've seen automation with emails for abandonment, for win back, where you set it and forget it. Media buying, we'll get into this one, but what if you went black belt with how you deploy your ad spend? And then the final 2, platform. Some of my favorite examples, like one is like Airbnb in the early days, all of a sudden started linking their product to Craigslist and it 4x their traffic. We see lots of our e-commerce clients, all of a sudden they'll go on TikTok shops, they'll go on Amazon, and that'll be huge. We even did that with our podcast. We literally toggled on to also publish to YouTube, and it 3x the traffic. And then finally, retention, right? If you can go from being an acquisition-based business to a retention-based business. Okay, so that might be overwhelming, but hopefully that's helpful. 10 ways that you can double your business. These are like 10 different ideas for leverage points. But I don't know about you, but I learned the best through case studies and examples. So let's go through what I am calling the Hall of Fame of leverage points. I should have done something more grand, maybe like a curtain and like some award ceremony, but nonetheless, this is the Hall of Fame of leverage points. Okay, so, oh, cool. Seeing some notes in the comments. Yeah, if people are having issues on one channel, yeah, you can check out YouTube. I think it's streaming pretty well there. So apologies if it's not working. And we'll have this recording that we'll be sending out afterwards. Okay, so the Hall of Fame, here we go. Hall of Fame of leverage points. So this one's pretty iconic. This is Hotmail. So let's kind of rewind the clock with Hotmail. This is right when web-based email was becoming a thing. So they launch and it wasn't working out of the gate. They were doing traditional marketing at the time. They're buying ads, they're trying to do content, and nothing's really working. And they're like, what do we do? And so they decided to find a new distribution channel. And the distribution channel was their own email. And so as people are using Hotmail, they're sending emails and they're like, hey, let's turn customers into marketers. And how do we make people aware that they just got an email from Hotmail? So look what they did. This was an automated postscript they put at the end of every email that says, I love you, get your free email at Hotmail. So now every email someone sends from their account becomes a mini banner ad for Hotmail. That referral mechanism really started to work. They started to kind of go viral, have like a positive viral coefficient, which is a fancy stat for everyone that uses the product invites more people. And this is a time when the internet had 70 million people. They went to basically 12 million subscribers in 18 months, and then got acquired by Microsoft. So again, Hall of Fame, iconic example there of literally adding a postscript to an email, and then it took off. Okay, let's go to another leverage point, content. For anybody out there with a consumer brand, we all know this example. This is Dollar Shave Club. Imagine if Dollar Shave Club had not invested the time and energy into this video. They have an unfair advantage in that their founder has done improv in the past, and they really wanted to do something fun to sell essentially blades. This video took off at a time before everyone was trying to go all in on video content and really put them on the map. And so again, we think about this with our brand that I'll talk about in a second. It's like one leverage point is content. And to go a step further, let's go with the leverage point of copy. This is one of my favorite examples. My friend Ryan Clyer, this is actually his work. So they work with Represent Us. They made this hilarious video, and then they put it out there to build up awareness of Represent Us to raise money. And the first video did not work. And it was a great video, but people just weren't engaging with it. And so they look at it and they're like, we need to really dig in on copy for this. So look what they did. They literally just add a wrap around this that said, if only all politicians were this honest. They changed the copy here, and they basically 20x the results as far as going from 1.6 million people seeing it to 25 million people seeing it. And this is something that we do a lot of testing around. It's a huge leverage point not to skip over. Okay, let's go to another one. Let's go to a leverage point with product. Airbnb in the early days, they were really struggling. Look at this. They were in the trough of sorrow. If you know kind of the startup timeline, they're in the trough of sorrow for a very long time. And the issue is people are interested in the product. They're listing their homes. People are interested in maybe renting something out. They're getting a lot of traffic, but no one's converting. No one's going across the finish line. But then what they decided is they're like, hey, people don't trust our website because it's all user-generated content. It's all photos that people took, their cat's on the bed. No, thank you. I don't want to stay there. So they quickly were like, hey, what if we just gave photography away for free? And so when they launched in New York, they did professional photography for free. And it was all about percent of listings with professional photos. And that was their leverage point. So every time they launch in a new city, it's like, we'll just pay for professional photos. And that was their unlock. All right, let's go to a leverage point with the distribution channel. And this is a site called Hitlist. They allow you to travel anywhere in the world. It's a really fun premise because you're like, hey, I want to go on a beach vacation. And for $300, you can go to Cancun, or $3,000, you can go to Bora Bora. So it lets you really kind of choose options based on your mood. But here's the problem. These guys have to compete against Kayak, against Priceline, against TripAdvisor. Those companies have huge budgets, and they are very, very good at SEO and at ads. So good luck, getting discovered at top of the funnel. So what did they do? They found a new distribution channel. Their head of product came up with this idea where they made a Chrome extension. So this Chrome extension, every time you open a new tab, let's say you're close to LaGuardia, it's like, hey, you can go to Thailand for $860, flight leaves in 4 hours, book it here. This one little Chrome extension got featured on Product Hunt. It was featured by Google, and this was our driver of new customer acquisition, was basically creating this little widget that built up awareness of the product. Okay. One of the last ones I want to hit on is the company Turtle. This is an amazing brand we've been fortunate enough to work with. And what they have done that's really impressive is they have this amazing travel pillow if you're doing like a red eye, and they've really grown and had great success in the US. But there's a certain total addressable market for this product in the US. And they're like, what if we could easily scale globally? So they decided to localize the website where you're basically just translating it to French, to English, to Dutch, to German. Obviously, you need to have fulfillment to pull this off. But this one move of translating the website and literally toggling the ads to open it up to different countries allowed them to go from 7 figures to 8 figures. And this is one I'll talk about in a second that has inspired kind of what we're doing with our own brand. So hopefully that's helpful to see some examples of these leverage points in action. But again, I'm a huge fan of building in public. We have our agency GrowthHit, where, growth marketing agency working with companies trying to grow and scale. And then we have our direct to consumer brand, Neat. We sell sweatproof t-shirts. What are we doing to implement these leverage points? So let me show you what we're doing that is working and also not working. Because again, it's all about testing and learning. We're not perfect here. So when we acquired Neat, we got the website, and the price point of the shirts was around like $38. So right away, I was like, I think the margins could be better. We are going to raise the price. But not only are we going to raise the price, I am no longer selling individual shirts. I'm only selling bundles. So what does that mean? Why is that important? Instead of having people come from a Facebook ad and spend $38 to buy a t-shirt, they now come in and they buy the black pack, the starter pack, the work to play set, and they're buying 3 to 5 shirts at a time. So now, not only did we raise the prices, we've raised the average order value. So we've actually been able to 3x revenue just by doing that. And a few ways we did that, just to get tactical, is look how we merchandise the website. It's all bundles. And then second, when you're at the cart, it's all about incentives to get that average order value up. So if you spend basically $85, you get free shipping. If you spend over $200, you get a free shirt. And this has been transformative for growing revenue, but also allowing us to run ads. But now that I've done this, I'm like, okay, crap, what do I do next to double revenue? So one thing we're working on, similar to what Dollar Shave Club has done, is really invest in creative. So let me try. What I'm showing you are some of the videos we've done. Sorry, making sure it doesn't play audio. So for us, our leverage point is content creation. So unfortunately, this is me recording this video, and it's one of the top performing ads. We're trying to get much better looking people and better creators to make it. This is another ad that's working quite well, where we do a water balloon test, where we pop the water balloon in the shirt. On the other brand, it soaks through. On ours, it doesn't. So for us, it's all about content creation, because the results can be huge for this. And another thing that we're investing in for our leverage points is global expansion. So we have had good success in the US, but as the election was coming up, what does that mean? It means lots of people are pouring money into the ad machines, and so it's very expensive to acquire customers. So one, we wanted to look outside the US for that. And two, we wanted to know, where is it hot? Because that's where people would want sweatproof shirts. So we took the exact same ad creative, the exact same landing page. We started running it in Australia and New Zealand. And overnight, it actually worked. We doubled our ad spend and doubled our revenue. The next thing we're doing, which candidly is not going to take 10 minutes, is translate, as we're translating the website, our ads, and our emails to go for Germany, to go for Italy, to go for France, go to countries that have good purchasing power, where we can have a big impact. So those are exciting leverage points, but that's only an option because we're able to fulfill globally. I know some people listening to this are like, great, Jim, that's cool, but I can't fulfill globally. Okay, let's go to GrowthHit now, the growth marketing agency that we have. And what are the leverage points we're trying to work through? So I kind of mentioned we published a podcast, and with the podcast, we quickly toggled that to YouTube and TikTok and some other places, and it started to work. But we're like, you know what? Like, what if we took our video content and sliced it up to be more friendly for TikTok? What if we just wrapped it with a different brand? So we took existing content we had, reformatted it for TikTok. We call it Damn Good Marketing, and it's been pretty fun to see. So it's basically growth marketing hacks and tips and case studies in under 60 seconds. And we started doing this, and we posted 20 videos. I'd say 14 of them flopped, but then a couple of them hit. Like, look at this one. It got 1.6 million views. We've had, I think, 5 get over 1 million views. And then we've had a few get to like 6 figures and 5 figures. So this has been fun to see that it works. It gets impressions, it gets views. But where it's not working is we're not getting leads from this. Maybe it's a good top of funnel play. Maybe down the road it will pay off. But it's not something that's really driving business. If anything, it's kind of fun to see we can get engagement there, but I would not call this a success. Okay. And then the final one that I have for GrowthHit is our offer. Again, I mentioned changing your offer can be a huge leverage point. That's a quick tweak, but the perceived value can be transformative because it's so high. So this is a traditional landing page that we have for people that come to our website wanting us to run Facebook or Instagram ads. And we used to just have a form, like book a call, let's do a strategy session. But we're like, what if we just said, let us analyze your ads, tell us about your business, and we'll do basically a free audit. This went live, I think, 2 weeks ago, but we've been able to double the lead volume from it. We'll see if it holds. I don't know if it will, but it's kind of fun to see, wow, just like the tweak of an offer had a huge impact on our cost per lead and our conversion rate. But again, I'm not calling it a success because who knows if those leads are qualified or not. Okay, so I might have just fire hosed you a little bit with how to double your business in 10 minutes by focusing on leverage points. But let me do a quick recap as we go through that. So it's like, all right, Jim, I'm intrigued. You have my attention. I'm going to stop being caught up in the whirlwind of business. I'm going to slow down to speed up. I'm going to slow down to understand what are the leverage points I could focus on. And I would challenge you, just like, first identify the bottlenecks or the high impact areas. What are the top 3? And what are the ones that have the easiest dials to turn or the easiest levers to pull? Is it your ad copy and ad creative? It's like, hey, we're leaving some meat on the bone with what we could test there. Let's lean into that. Or maybe it's pricing. Again, this is an easy one. Just add a 0. There's lots of examples of people that will acquire software as a service companies, SaaS companies, and they'll just double the price. And that's all they do. Your offer. I mentioned what we did with GrowthHit. I mentioned like the pizza example. Could you change your offer? And would that change how people convert? Partnerships are huge. Whether it's a online partnership, an offline partnership, it's kind of a new distribution channel for you. The referral strategy. This is one that I love. If you can turn customers into marketers in a frictionless way. Doing outbound. We hit on automation as far as one way to do an exercise to figure out how you can use automation as a leverage point is go from your full customer journey experience of what they do now and what's the ideal one, and where are their magic moments where you could do something that would be automated, where you could do something where you leverage any existing data, insights, segmentation to then create an automation that could have a big impact. Okay. And then, the AI translations have gotten much better. That's a really cool automation idea, Michael. Thank you for putting that in. Media buying. A great example of this one is True Classic. They are a company that has grown to be basically a 9-figure men's apparel brand. And they did it because they just got really deep in understanding the Meta Instagram algorithm. They work with the disruption team. So got very strong there. So maybe that's the leverage point, that if you pull that the right way, the results could be 10x like it was for them. Platform. I think about this one a lot, especially with Neat. We're limited on ad budget, but it's like, man, what if we all of a sudden start selling on Amazon? What if we start selling on TikTok? When do we do that? Are those the big unlocks? Even with agencies, I see a lot of people using Upwork as a lead gen tactic. So using that as a platform for customer acquisition. In the early days of our agency, there were some job boards that I used to get clients. And then finally, retention. Right? How can you go from getting one transaction from a customer to getting two? How can you double that? Or how can you compress their buying cycle? Maybe they buy every 6 months. Can you make that every 3 months? Using retention, using automation could be levers you pull there. But yeah, well, so I hope that was helpful. As far as, I think we're all busy right now. It's Black Friday, Cyber Monday's coming up. It's end of year. It's planning season. We're just trying to get things across the finish line. You're maybe just trying to get to inbox zero. But if you can slow down to speed up, ask yourself, hey, what are those leverage points that allow me to not work harder, but work smarter? That if I put my time, my team's time, our money and resources into, that could have a huge impact. And again, this framework of leverage points, it's a part of the bigger system of the growth marketing operating system that we're launching next week. I'll put a link to it. But again, we're doing a lot of free content around it. So you don't even have to buy it, but we'll be showing you stuff along the way. But it's nice to have it there because I put in templates and workbooks and a step-by-step program for it. But my main goal is growth is not easy. It is hard, right? So if you need help, happy to chat, even just to riff on some ideas or even be a therapist. I'm just Jim@growthhit.com. And also, I'd love to know if you're testing any of this stuff, what's working, what's not working. Because we're going to be bringing people in to do hot seats to let them kind of show, different things that they're tinkering with. That's something that we've had good success with. Some other upcoming live streams we're doing is we're building custom AI chatbots and GPTs for our brand, for GrowthHit, and for clients. And we're going to show what's working, what's not working there, and some of the momentum and things that we're excited about. So much more to come on that. But again, I really appreciate you guys taking the time in your busy day. And so, yeah, we'll also be sending out this recording if you want it, but more to come, and look forward to seeing you on the next live stream.